లో స్థాపించిన కళాశాలలో MBA, NAC A గ్రేడ్ మరియు ISO సర్టిఫికేషన్ సాధించిన మొట్టమొదటి కళాశాల శ్రీ ముత్తవరపు వెంకటేశ్వరరావు కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ.
Okay, good morning, students. My name is Dr. B. Suresh Babu, working as a professor in Mechanical Engineering Department in MBR College of Engineering and Technology. As a part of online classes, today's my lesson is on preparation of FGM methods. What is meant by FGM? Functionally graded materials. I repeat once again, it is functionally graded materials. In the previous class, we have learned about three types of functionally graded materials preparation. In this class, my concentration is on to have another two types of material, two methods of preparation of FGM materials, as well as applications of FGM materials. So I repeat once again, the concept is to know about two types of two methods for preparation of FGM material, and to have a applications of these FGM materials. Coming to the topic, if you observe this one, this is the syllabus which we can able to visualize the things. Already I told in this one. So if you observe this syllabus, the syllabus is going to be have a two parts of this syllabus. One is FGM, that is functionally graded materials. In the previous class, you observed about types of functionally graded materials, classification, and we are learning about the preparation properties. Properties already have explained in the previous class. In the preparation, there are number of methods are there. In this number of methods, we are going to see two. One is going to be a powder metallurgy technique. Second one is going to be a central centrifugal casting process, and applications of this FGM. So second part is shape memory always. We will discuss in the coming classes. Let us go for to the topic. It is a powder metallurgy technique. In the previous class, I have explained about functionally graded materials. Briefly, I have explained this powder metallurgy technique. Now we will go into deeper into this one, functionally powder metallurgy technique. In powder metallurgy technique, the name itself indicates what is metallurgy. What is metallurgy? Studying of materials and their properties is called as a metallurgy. Studying of materials and its properties is going to be called as a metallurgy. What is powder metallurgy? In powder metallurgy, we are going to take a raw material, that is the material that has to be prepared is taken in the form of a powders, and from that powders we are going to have the number of powders so that it will be useful for preparing the product. So for converting from a powder to a raw material of a powder to a product, it is going to have a sequence of steps. Those sequence of steps is completed, then we are going to prepare the product. If you observe this slide, so first we are going to take a raw material in the form of a powder. The powder contains, it may be silica, sand, or fine powder of a metal, a binding agent. Like sometimes we are going to use gum or water in some applications, and some applications we are going to use adhesive. So first we are going to collect the powder, and that powder is going to be collected in a die. Die in the sense it is a closed enclosure will be there, and this is going to be the closed enclosure. In this closed enclosure, we are going to take a raw material in the form of a powder, and after powder, it is going to be pressed under a mechanical or a hydraulic press. It is our option to choose which is a possible thing. So we are going to take a hydraulic press or a mechanic press, and by using that press we are going to press the powder, so that if you observe this one, width is going to be large and breadth is going to be large. By application of the press or pressure on this one, the application will be in the form of arrows. I think you can easily see, and thereby it is converted into this length is increased, width and breadth is going to be decreased. Thereby we are going to have this type of applications, this type of product. And then after this one, we are going to go for sintering. Sintering in the sense, it's a process of taking metal in the form of a powder and placing it on a mold or a die. Once compacted into the mold, the metal is placed under a high heat for a long period of time. Under heat, bonding takes place between the porous aggregated particles, and once cooled, the powder has bonded in the form of a solid piece. So what happens in sintering? In sintering, we are going to take metal in the form of a powder and is kept in a die, and the die is going to be a closed die. Thereby application of heat and application of pressure on the die, the all powder are going to be compacted, and porous nature is going to be decreased. That means the gap between the two particles are going to be decreased, and thereby once by decreasing that one, we are going to have a compactness in this. That means density of the metal is going to be increased. Once the density of the metal is increased, means we are going to increase the strength of the material, and we are going to achieve the properties. Gap between the molecules are going to be reduced. Uniformity in the workpiece will be well defined. So by doing this one, we are going to get the reduction of the size, as well as density increases. By density, strength will increase, hardness will be increased, like so on. The properties are going to be enhanced by using this one. And material is placed under a high heat for long period of time. Under heat, bonding takes place between the porous aggregated particles, and once cooled, the powder has bonded to form a solid piece. So this is how the sintering takes place. After sintering, the material is going to be pressed under the rollers, so that if rollers are in heat condition, there is a high probability to control the dimensions of the product. That means we want to get length, breadth and thickness of a bar or a round piece can be obtained by using this type of rollers. Here the deformation takes place, that is called as a deformation. After deformation, the material is going to be cooled, and it can be measured whether quality is achieved or not. If not, by using machining process, we are going to correct the size. So that is called, here we can observe this one, machining and fabrication is going to be done here. Next we will go for the quality assurance. So for testing the product, we are going for the quality assurance. The quality assurance may be physical quality assurance can be done, mechanical properties quality assurance can be done, or we can able to do the chemical quality assurance also by using number of tests. As we are concentrating on the preparation only, so I have limited to preparation of this functionally graded material, that is FGM materials, by using this process. So first one is powder preparation. Powder preparation can be done by a number of grinding tools, or we can go for a manual process grinding, or we can go for a machining process. Next, after that one, sufficient powder is obtained means it should be mixed with number of materials that are needed to prepare a product. For mixing, we can go for the manual process. Then it is going to be pressing under a one die. After that one, it is going to be sintered. Sintering is keeping the die under that one mold. Next one is deformation takes place. After deformation, we are going to get the size, shape, and properties are going to be well packed or well defined in the material. After that one, for accuracy of dimensions, for accuracy of shape and accuracy of size, we are going for the machining or fabrication process. After that one, we are going for the quality assurance, and by this we are going to get a quality product. So in this one, important parameter or step is sintering. So sintering, if you observe, sintering is the process of taking a metal in the form of a powder and placing it in a mold or die. Once compacted into the mold, the metal is placed under high heat for a long period of time. Under heat, bonding takes place between the porous aggregated particles, and once cooled, the powder has bonded to form a solid piece. Next, if you observe centrifugal casting, already I told about this one. In centrifugal casting, first of all, what is a centrifugal force? The forces that are going to be act away from the center is going to be called as a centrifugal force. I repeat once again, the forces that are going to be act away from the center is going to be called as a centrifugal force. If you observe this centrifugal casting process, what is the casting? Converting a molten metal into a solid material with the help of a predefined shape of a mold is going to be called as a casting. That means cooling a molten metal in a predefined shape. That predefined shape is going to be called as a molding or mold. And if this process is carried out in a sequence of steps, then that is going to be called as a centrifugal casting process. Let us go for this applications of this one. Here a mold is there. That means the shape we are going to obtain here is like a pipe or a barrel, we can see here. Next, this light dark yellow color we are going to be called as a molten metal. So we can, it is a ladle, or sometimes we can call it as a crucible. So in crucible, we are going to be convert a molten metal into a raw material, solid particle into a molten metal, and that molten metal can be poured in this spout. So this is the path it is going to be entering into the mold. So this mold is fitted with a driving shaft. That means it is going to be rotated with help of a rollers. When it is going to make rotations based upon the centrifugal principle, the mold is going to be scattered or spread on the walls of this mold, and gradually it is going to be rotated. At one point of time, layer by layer, all the molten metal will be transferred to the mold, and mold day by day, we can say minute by minute, solidification is going to be takes place. After sufficient time, then the solidification is completed means we can remove the mold, thereby we can able to obtain the product which is done with the casting process. As this is rotating, and this due to this rotation, mold is going to be entered into the edges. That's why it is going to be called as a centrifugal casting process. So here, if you observe this diagram, two parts are there. It is one way of representation, and this is going to be the side view of this one. If you observe the driving shaft, so this is going to be driving shaft. This means rollers are going to be rotated with the driving shaft, This is the mold. To the drive roller, the mold is going to be there. Thereby, mold is going to make rotations. So this is going to be called as a free roller. That means which supports this mold. Driver driving is going to be mold, and mold is going to be driving the roller. Why it is due to this driver roller, the mold may not shift its position. That's why we are going for this free roller. Here we have kept this free roller. So that is the thing which we can understand. Drive roller. So by using this one, we are going to prepare this FGM. What is FGM? FGM, the materials which have the specific property or specific need to use, then the type of materials are going to be called as a FGM materials, that is functionally graded materials. Then what are the features of this FGM? We are going to learn this one as it is a PPT. Have explained the procedure. The same procedure you have to write step by step. Now we will go for the highlights of this centrifugal casting process. In centrifugal casting, a permanent mold is rotated continuously about its axis at a speed 300 to 3000 rpm as the molten metal is poured. That means as the molten metal is going to be pouring inside a mold, and mold is going to make rotations. The RPM of that is 300 to 3000 RPM. The molten metal is centrifugally thrown towards the inside mold wall. The molten metal is centrifugally thrown towards the inside mold wall, where it solidifies after cooling. Where it solidifies after cooling. The casting is usually a fine grained casting with a very fine grained outer diameter owing to chilling against the mold surface. What it defines is, for example, if this is the going to be a mold one, it is going to make rotations. While making rotations, here we are going to dump the, here it is going to make rotation like this, and we are going to pour the molten metal from this end, and this end is going to be stopped. So this surface we are going to provide a medium such that it is going to be chilled. That means it is going to be cooling the molten metal that is enter into this mold box. So try to understand. So this is going to be chilled when it is going to make rotations. So that's what you have to remember here. Repeat, the molten metal is centrifugally thrown towards the inside mold wall where it solidifies after cooling. The casting is usually a fine grained casting with a very fine grained outer diameter owing to chilling against the mold surface. The casting machines may be either horizontal or vertical. The casting positions may be either horizontal or vertical. Horizontal axis machines are preferred for long thin cylinders. Vertical machines for rings. If you observe, there are two types are there. Horizontal will be there. This is called horizontal position, and this is going to be called as a vertical position. Horizontal machines are preferred for long objects. That means if object the product has to be very long, then we are going to have a horizontal type of thing. If you want to get a vertical machine, then we are going to produce the rings like this. Centrifugal casting process is have these features. Next one is a solid preform technology. So solid preform technology, it is a sophisticated method. Here first we are going to create a product which we need on AutoCAD, and on AutoCAD we are going to design this one. Here we have designed a cup here. So data by 3D CAD, and here CAD data SQL is form data, and stereotopy, stereotography. This is a process where we are going to control the thickness, and where we are going to control the dimensions of the object. So it is one type of process.
The details will be explained. You first listen as it is a software based design process. First, we are going to prepare the product, and the prepared is going to be used with a cinematography. That means it is a layer by layer. We are going to add the material to obtain the product. That's what it, that means here is a platform is there, and this is going to be the one layer, and layer is going to be used, and once again another layer is there, and here another layer is there. So thereby there's a, we are going to increasing number of layers, and the thickness of the material is going increasing, and shape is going to be obtained what we have done in the AutoCAD or on 3D CAD, and thereby the hardening levels are going to increase as we are going to increase the thickness. You observe clearly it is one type of color, second step another type of flower, thereby rightly you're going to get a laminal. So it is like this we are going to prepare the product here. Instead of doing manually a mold, we are going to do it in a software. Next, what are the features of this one? The features if you observe, solid freeform technology means SFS involves five steps. One is generation of CAD data from the software like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, etc. We can go for a CAD, Pro E or like so on. Next, conversion of a CAD data to standard triangulation language. So, so conversion of the CAD data to standard triangulation of language SQL file. Slicing of SQL into two-dimensional cross-section profile. After that one, we have to go for slicing of the SQL into two-dimensional cross-section profile. Building of the component layer by layer. Already I told layer by layer we can use. Next after that one for removing, for finishing, we are going to remove the unwanted material that are layered on the product, and thereby you can able to obtain the product. So this is how we can done solid freeform technology. So here we are going to done layer by layer like S1, S2 up to S1 surface, that is top one. So, so this is how FSS process. You can by write the diagram in the examination, explain about the five steps, that is generating the AutoCAD diagram first, conversion of AutoCAD into standard languages. Then to that one, you layer by layer you have to draw the dimensions, that is selection of the material in the layer by layer. Building of the component of the topmost surface or outer surface. Fifth one is correcting the dimensions. Correcting the dimensions in the help of machining process, that is removing the material, and fabrication or going for finishing process. Next, applications of this one, which is these FGM materials are widely used in aerospace applications. Why? Because FGM has a specific properties to use. For example, already I told silicon can be mixed. In tungsten, hardness can be built. In silicon, we can have a high toughness can be obtained. So without compromising other properties, we can increase the hardness, or without compromising the brittleness, we can increase the strength of a material. Like this FMG materials can be prepared. To observe, they have added advantage that the metal side can be bolted onto the air frame rather than bonded as are the ceramic tiles used in the orbiter. Other possible uses include combustion chamber, insulation in ramjet or scramjet engines. So in aerospace applications, in orbitars, we are going to use it, or in combustion chamber. In combustion chamber, which can high temperature, we are going to use this one. This is FGM materials. Nuclear fusion reactors. Modification to heat exchangers in Tokamak fusion reactor, we can use this FGM materials. That means in nuclear reactors also this FGM material is used. In aerospace applications, exclusively in the combustion chamber, we are going to use this FGM material. In fuel cells, means creating a porosity gradient in the electrodes. The efficiency of the reaction can be maximized. So in fuel reaction cells, these FGM materials are used. By using this FGM, we can try to maximize the efficiency of the reaction. So that is called creating a porosity gradient in the electrode. The efficiency of reaction can be maximized. Since you can observe the microstructure size is 100 micron and this is a 10 micron level. So the differentiate, the scale is given only. So in fuel cells, by using FGM material, we can enhance the reaction of this. Next, other applications include cutting tool insert coating in the preparation of automobile engine components, in turbine blades, heat exchangers, fire retardant doors, and sensors. So in cutting tools, in automobile engine, in turbine blade preparation, in heat exchangers, fire retardant doors, and sensors. If you observe all these applications, all these are where we are going to produce high temperatures. We need, these are using high or high dynamic state materials. Other FGMs include here, if you go for nuclear energy, engineering applications, in aerospace, in chemical plants, in electronics, energy conversion, commodities, biomaterials, optics. These are the other applications where FGM can be used as a material. So based upon this concept, the conclusions what we can derive is functionally graded materials are still a very recent area of research. That means there is a wide variety scope to address number of functionally graded materials which can be prepared or which can be naturally available. Current research is mostly focused on uncovering the complex nature of a fracture mechanics to the material, non-homogeneity, as well as in the developing or improving the forming process so that the target gradient is achieved with precision. The simple topic what they are concluding is, what we can conclude is that to have a precise product and to have a non-homogeneity. Why? Because we are using a material with metal with a non-metal. Thereby, homogeneity has to be brought. So a non-metal and metal cannot be mixed with a general technique. If you search for a appropriate technique, we can go for a bringing non-homogeneity can be reduced. That is, homogeneity can be increased. Thereby, stabilization properties can be obtained. By using stabilization properties, the material can be able to behave in an efficient manner. So that is the thing to be understand. Okay, this is thank you. That means FGM part is over in unit 5. Before concluding, I want to explain highlights of this today's class. At the beginning of this class, already I told our aim is to know the separation methods of this FGM. Second one is to know the applications of this FGM. Third one is conclusions of this FGM. If you observe this preparation, I have explained powder metallurgy technique, centrifugal casting process, solid pre-methodology methods. That is a solid preform technology. This is a new technology nowadays that is going to be has to be improved here. And applications in aerospace, in nuclear fission reactors, in fuel cells, and other applications include automobiles, turbine blades, heat exchangers, fire retardant doors, sensors. Apart from this one, general applications may be nuclear energy, engineering, aerospace, chemical plant, electronics, energy conversion, commodities, biomaterials, and optics. Basically, this is a critical subject, students. Only fourth unit itself is problematic, which we can practice and improve your knowledge. Okay, by this, one part of the syllabus is over, and the remaining things will be explained in the coming classes. Notes will be given for this one in detail within 2 to 3 days. Up to now, I have explained about SDM. Second part is shape memory LLs that we will discuss. Okay, that is concluding, students. Have a good day. See you soon. Bye, students. See you all.